Hey guys, it's Nurse Lemetria with Smart Edition Academy, and in this video I'm going to show you guys how to create a study schedule for the HESI A2 entrance exam. First, I'm going to show you guys the 4 steps that you need to follow in order to create your study schedule. And then I'm going to show you guys how to approach that in detail. And then at the end, we're going to go to exactly how to do it in 25 to 30 minutes. But before we get started, make sure you check the links in the description box where you can find the free HESI study planner. Then you can find the free HESI practice test, the HESI study group, and the HESI online study course. So first, step 1 is going to be to get clear. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, each program have their own sets of requirements, and each of them are going to require different sections of the HESI test. So what you want to do is make sure that you outline first before you approach this. Figure out what your dream school requires. So if you're trying to keep track of, your school's admissions, the parts of the HESI that you need for your school's admissions process, come right here to this page of the planner and you'll see that you have all these things arranged beautifully for you, where you have the required sections to take, you have the name and program, application deadline to submit your test scores, and all the sections that are required. So you want to go ahead and make sure you check this out for sure. And then you can also put, other than the application and the HESI exam, what else needs to be submitted, which is a very helpful piece. And you also have a section for you to put notes and different things that you need to jot down. So from there, you're going to go to step 2, which is take your practice test. When it comes to the practice test, you guys, this is a critical step here. You do not want to skip this step. And the reason why you want to take the practice test first is because you want to gauge and set a baseline for your learning and your study schedule. So what it's going to do is that when you take the test, it's going to give you a framework. You're going to learn your strengths and weaknesses, and then you're going to learn, where should I start? Where should I begin? Because what's going to happen when you take that practice test is that you're going to get a diagnostics page, and that's going to tell you exactly where your weaknesses are and where your strengths are. So let's go ahead and I'm going to show you the practice test. So we're going to start with the practice test 1 as an example, and I'm going to show you guys how to approach different sections. So I'm going to go down to the anatomy and physiology section for the practice test, and we're going to get the diagnostics so I can see exactly where I should go next after I do this. And it's timed. So I'm going to go ahead and do this, and I'll get back to you guys in a second. All right, you can see that I got 15 out of 25 questions correct. And right here on the right-hand side, I'm going to minimize that. Right here on the right-hand side, you can see the diagnostics report of what I did. So you can see that I got 100% of the cardiovascular questions correct, but did not do so hot on the muscular system or the urinary system. So when I approach my study session, I'm going to go first to one of those, but there's also these that I also got 50% on. So those are also areas of weakness. So from here, after I get my diagnostics report from the practice test, I'm going to come over here to the study planner, and I'm going to go down to pages 6 through 9, where I can find the portion that I was on. As you can see, let me back up. As you can see right here, you have the section or a page for the math section, page for the reading, grammar, vocabulary, biology, and A&P. So I'm going to come here to my A&P section, and I'm going to put down my initial score on the test, which was 60%, 15 out of 25 points. So that would go up here. And then I'm going to put down the time that it took me to complete the test, which I'm going to find that right here where it says your time. Now, of course, I went fast, but it took me, of course, 3 minutes. But for you guys, it's going to be a little bit different. And then I'm going to list the weakness areas. And so over here, I'm going to put my strongest areas, which are the areas where I got 100%. And then my weakest areas are going to include all those that are 50% or below for this particular section. But right here, I would probably go with obviously the 0. So we're going to put muscular system on there as well as the urinary system. And then from there, I would just go from the bottom. I do respiratory system and organization of the human body. So those would be the 4 that I would focus on. So when I get my 4 topics, right, I'm going to take those 4 topics, studying those for a minimum of 2 times a week for 30 minutes each. And then do that for a total of 3 weeks. Then at the end of the 3rd week, you're going to take on 1 to 2 additional topics. So then at the end of week 3, you're going to take another practice test. Now what this is going to do is that after you've been studying for 3 weeks, it's going to give you a good chance to gauge and first learn the material, so that you're not just memorizing it, but you want to learn the material, and then it's going to give you the opportunity to see what you learned. You're going to be able to reassess your strengths and weaknesses, get a new diagnostic report, and see exactly where you should go next. And you're going to keep repeating this process every 3 weeks. So that'll give you plenty of time to gauge yourself and get your strengths up to where you need to be so that you can get the results that you want when you sit for the HESI A2 exam. And here you have a convenient page for your practice test retakes. So now we're on to the good stuff. How do you do it in 25 to 30 minutes? Well, before we do that, let's make sure we back up and just clarify everything that we just went over. First step, you're going to get clear on what you're going to do. Second step, you're going to take your practice test. Third step, you're going to get that diagnostic report and then set up your studying from there. And then the 4th step is going to be set up a rotation so that you are doing the 2 to 3 week thing where you're taking on the topics every 3 weeks, repeating that process and taking different practice tests. So when you have that outlined for yourself, then you're ready to go ahead and get started on the 25 to 35 minute thing. First, we're going to go back to the course, which for us is going to be the anatomy of the urinary system. And then we're going to first go down here and read the written portion first. So first start with the written, and here's why. When you have the written portion, by the time you get to that video, you're already going to be familiar with a lot of these terms that you're going to see on here. So it won't be the first time you're hearing it. And you can sometimes make sense of these things in your mind sometimes before you see the video. But you don't want to come down here and mark complete, right? Because we're going to go back up and look at the video. Some of the videos, they average about 8 to 10 minutes, but this one's a little bit on the longer side, so it's about 15 minutes long. You're going to want to go back and test yourself over what you just went over. So the cool thing about this too is that instead of having to do a full practice test, you can just narrow it down by topic. So right here, we know this is an A&P. We're going to go to the test question bank. And then we're going to go right here to the urinary system. So we have 34 questions to work with. Now, you don't have to do all of these. You can just do the first 5, just do a few of them if you want. But the cool thing is right here, you get the answer right away. You don't have to wait until the end to get the diagnostic report like you do with the full practice test. This is just really just a helpful way to get it done and get it over with. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't have a whole lot of time to work with. So for right now, I'm going to do question number 1. Urinary tract is composed of the blank, ureter, and urethra. So we're going to say the kidney and go to check. And that is incorrect. It is also broken down. It gives you right here the green. That's going to be your correct answer. So it's going to be bladder, not kidney. And here's what happens when you get an incorrect question. It's going to give you this really detailed rationale along with some photos to help bring it home for the visual learners, as well as the reason why each one of these is or is not correct. So it's going to tell us why bladder is correct, but then it gives you what the nephrons do, the glomerulus, all that stuff's going to be broken down for you right here. So when you're doing these practice questions, this should typically take you maybe another 5 to 10 minutes to get through at least 5 to 10 of them and to go over them in detail. So that's how you do it, you guys. That's exactly how you can study in 20 to 25 minutes. We spent the first 10 to 15 minutes on the written portion of the module. Then we took another 10 minutes to go over the actual module itself. And then we reinforced our learning with these practice questions that are based strictly on the topic and have the immediate answers available. And you can take as many or as little as you like. So by doing it this way versus the old school cramming method, this helps keep information concise and it boosts your confidence. You won't be burned out. You've got mobile material. You can look at this on any device that you have with you, which is very creative. So if you find yourself with some extra time on your hands, instead of scrolling on social media, get out your Smart Edition Academy and, spend some time on it. You get what I'm saying? You don't want to... You got to build time for this in your day. And this is just the easy way to do it. Like I said, it's only 30 minutes. What do you have to lose, right? This was designed to stop us from feeling so overwhelmed. A lot of people get really overwhelmed when it comes time to studying, you guys, really. And they'll just end up with analysis paralysis and they're not getting anything done. So definitely try this method. You will not regret it, you guys. And remember, guys, you got this. You got to relax and know that if you give yourself enough time, which is typically a few months, you guys are going to crush this exam with these resources right at your fingertips. You don't have to lug around textbooks or any of that old-fashioned stuff to get the job done. Before we go, make sure that you check out that description box where you can get your free HESI study planner. You'll have access to the HESI study group, free HESI practice tests. All right, you guys. So now that you have all that, definitely make sure that you chime in the comment section. If you have found this video helpful, certainly we'd love to know about it. And I want to tell you guys, happy studying and just try to relax. Know you're going to get through it. But that's it for today. I am Nurse Lemetria signing off and I will see you in the next video. Happy studying. Alrighty. Bye-bye.